Hello everybody, welcome to Alternative Interactions. I'm Gary. Well, it's not an update and babble. I'm just fed up with sitting indoors, and I thought I'd come out, have a little walk in the local forest. Nice to hear some birds singing and get a bit of fresh air and stop being a slob in the old cabin, as it were. So yeah, today I'm going to talk about the 1st of January. So this kind of relates to a couple of things, really. If you want, I can go over. If you want, I'm probably going to do it anyway. I'll go over the Christmas, what I see Christmas, and I'm not going to go all dark or anything like that. You can, but I'm just going to explain how I think Christmas is and what December the 25th represents. So, because they are kind of linked. So what I'm looking at with December the 25th is we're talking about the sun, not S-O-N as in a human or a person, sun as in the big thing up in the sky. Not that we have any of that at the moment, but there we go. So yeah, fundamentally on the winter solstice, the sun neither goes forwards or backwards in its alignment, degree wise. It sits there for 3 days. So in actual fact, the sun dies for 3 days, and then on the 25th it comes back to the northern plane 1 degree, and so it's born again. So Christmas is a celebration of the sun, as in the thing that gives us heat, and has nothing to do with, as far as I'm concerned, any body. Another little offshoot of this one before we get into January the 1st is Samson and Delilah, the lovely story. And Samson is actually the sun, and Delilah would be looked at as the seasons and or the movement of the sun. And so what we get is, during the summertime, Samson's hair is very long and he has lots of power, lots of strength, which is really interesting. And then Delilah cuts his hair off, and his hair, his locks, his long hair, which gives him the power, is as in the northern hemisphere, the sun goes to the southern hemisphere. And so the sun loses its power and its rays. Its rays are Samson's hair. And Samson begins to grow his hair again on the 25th December. So there we go. Now, not quite as dark as you imagine. There obviously are dark connotations and layers over it, and I'm not going to go into that today. But it's very, very interesting. Very interesting. So I want to look at the 1st of January. And first of all, let's get this very clear, that the 1st of January is not the new year. Never was. It might be now, but it never was. The actual new year was April the 1st. We would have had a 13-month calendar at that point. Certainly early Bibles show a 13-month calendar, even if our current history says that it never was. You know, we know how they work, don't we? We know how they work by now. So December, Dec, means 10. November, Nov, means 9. Oct is 8 and Sept is 7. I'm sure most of you know that, but it's the realization of how they put it together. So then we have January. January is an inserted month, fundamentally to worship the God of gods, true God of this realm, true controller of this realm. And back then, before J's were invented, we had Ionis. And Ionis is a very interesting character indeed. He's the God of gods. He's the God of everything. Fundamentally the God of the Bible as well, but not in that direct way that you would imagine. Now, I have a huge PowerPoint on this, hundreds of slides, and I've never released it because, quite frankly, I think we'd all die of boredom before we really got it. So I'm just going to give you the overview. But I can go through this if you really want me to. Trying to look forward and the breaking of Ionis at the current time. We're looking forward at the moment, not backwards, but it's interesting to know. It's also interesting to know where your energy is going on the 1st of January. So we have this character called Ionis, and Ionis is known today as Janus. Now this is going to be controversial to all these Tartarian fellows and ladies. We have all this talk about coins and dates with J's and I's. The most important god in Roman time, whether you like it or not, was Janus or Ionis, J or an I. The J or the I, as far as I'm concerned, are homage to that one god. Now, I have covered Janus before, but a brief overview is needed to explain this and how it all links to the church as well, and Christmas, in fact. Why wouldn't it? So Janus is known as the two-faced or four-faced god, and what that means is he has a face at the front of his and at the back, and the four face is front, side, and back. So he looks everywhere. This is the nice modelling there, by the way, wasn't it? This is the depiction of Janus, two-faced and four-faced. And fundamentally, Janus is the beginning and the endings, past and present, or past and future actually, not present. That's the one thing that they can't do. Now Janus is known as the god of doorways. So all doorways, entrances, windows, passages, archways are all to do with Janus. In fact, the Roman Empire, when they're at war, would only enter a city via a certain archway, doorway, or leave via that certain doorway, so that Janus would give them luck. And it was only in times of peace that they would actually use another doorway. I think that other doorway was used a handful of times in the history of the Roman Empire, by the way. So let's go up here, let's have a try. No, we'll carry on going. Janus is the god of birth and death. Janus is the god of creation and endings, beginnings and endings, creation. He's also the god of time. He's the god of the calendar. He's the god of bridges, god of travel. To travel, you have to put one foot in front of the other. So you put your left foot forward, your best foot apparently. That's the beginning. And when the foot comes off the ground, that's the ending. It's very interesting in old language. A bridge or a ford you'd have to do a homage to Janus for safe passage, travelling, travel. I didn't think I'd get much further. Let's turn around and we'll go up the side to shoot. It's very interesting. Wonder why we have Henry Ford and the Ford Motor Company. Because Ford is an offshoot of Janus. We travel in a Ford. Just a side note, you know how it is. So Janus is the god of doorways, arches, windows, beginnings and ends, birth, death, time. There's nothing in this realm that you can't think is not Janus. And Janus, you'd say, is talking about an old defunct god. Well, I'm really not. Janus has come up in a Channel 4 British TV version of Utopia. If you ever want to watch that. And the 11 dart finish, or the 1 dart finish that they were planning in Utopia, the gene that would sterilise the world was called Janus. Endings, remember? Now, Janus is also connected to our language in ways we don't even know. So, in the morning, when the sun rises, we say good morning. Well, not only are we in mourning because we're dead entities, Janus is the god of mourning. Couldn't make it up, could you? Janus is also the sun and the moon. So Janus changes his name throughout history. So Janus is the sun and the moon, the duality. The yin and yang is Janus. And so what we find on, January the 1st, getting back to that, is as we celebrate January the 1st, we're celebrating a new beginning, Janus. We're giving our energy to Janus. I mean, the fireworks that we set off is meant to ward away bad, evil spirits. I don't think anybody is mindful enough of setting a firework off when we're talking about Janus and the January the 1st. Let's see where we can go from here. So January the 1st is all about Janus, as is January. There are other months where the Romans did sacrifices and such like on behalf of Janus. I think March and October ring a bell with me, and something in August. So yeah, it's very, very interesting that we have this. Now, we're all about truth and research for me and where it leads us. So getting back to some of the names of Janus, some of the people who are Janus. Well, Janus is Apollo. Apollo Pharmacia. Where the Hippocratic Oath comes from his wife Hygiena and his son, who I can't remember his name. But that's pharmaceuticals, Pharmacia, and the 11 Dark Finish. Remember I mentioned Utopia just recently, TV program, fictional program obviously, regarding this kind of thing. So, a few puddles to go round. So yeah, it's very, very interesting that our current modern pharmaceutical industry is based on Apollo, and Apollo is Janus or Ionis, and we can see the effects of the 11 Dark Finish on fertility currently, can't we? You know, just saying. Remember, this is entertainment purposes only. See the disclaimer in the bottom of the description. But yeah. But Apollo is a sun god. Invictus and Sol. The Invictus Games that Harry and the royal family are involved in, from the sacrifice of war. Sol is the sun, has an S-U-N above. But as we go through history and we start looking at all the names of Janus, every single sun god is fundamentally Janus, because Janus is the sun, the duality. And Janus is also the moon. Iona, also known as Diana. And Janus is a four-faced god and a two-faced god. But Janus is also a two-faced god, as in male and female. The XX chromosome and the XY chromosome. It's interesting that Y, numerology wise, and X, both the same, they're both 10. So, yeah, very, very interesting that, isn't it? And obviously the Diana moon relates through to the Pan and the pansexual nature of our realm. Obviously Peter Pan being the villain in Peter Pan, is the child snatcher. Original version of Peter Pan, he has horns. The original version of Moses, he has horns. And when we go to that kind of stuff and look at the burning bush from Ezekiel or Moses, the burning bush is Janus. He's just found some lackeys to do his bidding. Ezekiel and Moses are actually both the same person, and the Bible states this as two different people, and it shows an extended timeline of the people who did the deal with Janus and are currently causing havoc in this realm. Now, Janus is Horus, you know, the sun god. All of this stuff is Janus, all of it. Now, I can hear you saying, yeah, it's great, Gary, but a two-faced god, yeah, that's not really believable, okay? Well, if we go down to around 2400 BC-ish, maybe a bit earlier, we have a character called Enki. I'm sure everyone's heard of Enki. Well, Enki had this magical advisor who just turned up out of nowhere and was Enki's main consort. Enki's handler, in fact. The control mechanism of Enki. And that guy was called Ishmud. We actually have depictions of Ishmud in pottery and on stone, I believe. I obviously have the images. Ishmud is shown as always having two faces. The physical representation of the two-faced god, ensuring that the Sumerians, the 200 Watchers, the Anunnaki, whoever you want to call them, whatever name you want to give them, were being fully controlled and usurped into the demonic realm. And obviously when you start following this all the way back, it then does link into my old chestnut, the Fibonacci sequence, the Star of Rembrandt, which is known as the Star of David, and we could carry on going down that route, but we're not going to. So, getting back to Janus. Janus is also the janitor. It's the keeper of the keys. Doorways and doors. I mean, Janus is a lovely fella. The goddess of the hinge of the door, the hinge goddess. Yes, there is such a thing. Well, Janus raped her and put her into servitude to always be the hinges of his door. He took her power away. I think that kind of starts to give you an idea of who Janus is. Now, Janus is the janitor, the keeper of the keys. We see the sigil, the flag of the Roman Catholic Church is two keys crossed in the X. The XX chromosome, the male. What is it Roman Catholic Church priests aren't allowed to do? That's it. Yeah. Have intimate relationships with ladies. Although we know that's all horse shit, don't we? I have a very good question from one of my followers regarding the show I did with Sonia, regarding kind of some of this stuff, and I will go over it. It's a very good, it'll make a good show, and I'll try and string it together so it makes sense, but I will be doing that in the future. Anyway, The Roman Catholic Church, the Vatican, named after Vatica, the goddess of the underworld, who looks a little bit like Baal and Moloch. And Pan, in fact, the piper. Now, Janus is the god of all gods. Janus is also Yahweh. Remember, the Bible is a duality. It has good and bad. And the bad part of the Bible was written in on behalf of Janus to promote Yahweh and the feeding of Lush via the Fibonacci sequence. Again, I've got a big playlist on the Fibonacci. I'm not going to go into it any more than that. I did do a tongue-in-cheek video called Janus Meets the Pope, when the Pope died. You might find that interesting. In fact, I might even put a link down below. Janus Meets the Pope. So, Janus is the father of all gods. Pater. Also known as Peter. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Oh, really? I wonder who that's to. Janus's realm is from the underworld to the heavens above. Janus rules it all. Go into any church, Anglican church, stained glass windows, and you will find Janus in every single church in the UK. Every single church in the UK, Janus will be somewhere. He's always holding a key, and sometimes they have the cross keys below his feet. The X. See a lot of X, don't we? What's Twitter called now? Oh, that's right, yeah. Just by chance, eh? Just by chance. Let's have a little turn round. Yeah, just by chance. Now, Janus is the god of the Bible. Janus is Apollo, Zeus, Helios, the moon, Diana. He's everything. And he's who all you truthers have been fighting against from day one. He's the one that does the sacrifice, well, not doesn't, he's the one that sacrifices are made for. Very interesting in Roman times that on the 1st of January there would be no sacrifices. They would have bread, spelter and fruit. But on the 9th of January, get this, on the 9th of January they would sacrifice a ram. Nine is endings. 369. Why would it be a ram, specifically a ram? December the 25th, or 23rd actually, the Romans would slaughter and sacrifice a pig for Christmas. Anyway, I digress. The New Year celebration is the satanic worship of your satanic god. I sugarcoated that well, didn't I? Didn't just say it how it is. When you celebrate January the 1st, when you do your New Year's resolution, and when you do all that kind of stuff, you are bending the knee to Satan himself. Because Janus is Satan. The moon is completely connected with Saturn. The moon came in. There's, you know, I've said this before. There's tribes in this world that remember a time before the moon. For some of you, that may sound strange. Even the Ethiopian Bible states pre-moon time to aftermoon. Janus is the moon is the Fibonacci sequence. You put food out in the moonlight, it will spoil, it will go rancid. You put something in the sun, it will dehydrate it, but it will not make it go rancid, and it will be consumable. Think sun-dried tomatoes and such like. The duality of Janus. Janus is the AI construct that runs this world. X and X. X is 1, 0. Binary code. Y, what is the numerical value of Y? It comes up 10 as well. Who knew? I actually Googled it and it said that. Why do the Masons have black and white floors? Black in numerology is 10 and white in numerology is 10. They have the twin pillars, sometimes 4 pillars. Twin pillars, twin face, 4 pillars, 4 face God. Still Janus. We know the Masonics, high-level Masonics, have run this realm for a very long time, cozied up to Janus. We go back to the burning bush and Moses and all the stuff that they were given. All that is a veiled understanding of the deal that a certain tribe of people with small hats, remember the Vatican wears small hats as well, will give them control of the physical realm to do as they pleased, as long as they sacrifice certain small individuals and kept the loosh farm going. I bet you're looking forward to January the 1st, aren't you now? It's what it is though, isn't it? The research is what it is. You know, I've got nothing against tarot, I do tarot myself, but if you look at the chariot rider's Janus. It's a 4-faced god. He has a face on each shoulder, a moon, half crescent moon on each side of his shoulders. You know, he's under a canopy of 4 pillars. I understand the Jewish faith get married under a canopy of 4 pillars, don't they? But when we look at 4 faces as well, when we look at modern architecture, we all live in boxes, don't we? A box is 4 faces, 4 sides. It's the 4 faces of Janus, fundamentally. And when we go to the Fibonacci sequence and look at the Metatron's cube, Star of David or Star of Rempran goes back to pre-David stuff, which is just an invention, just new stuff. Star of David isn't actually in any kind of Jewish book of any kind at all. It just suddenly arrives, ping, just like that, all around the time of a reset. They're panicking, you see, because the thing is, the thing we know, and the thing they've known for a long time, you know, we're catching up, we're playing catch up, is they know that this point in time's coming and they're in shit. And they've done everything they can in this last 100 years or so, 150 years, 200 years, they've done everything they can to make our lives a living hell, to try and appease Janus, January the 1st. So, do I celebrate the 1st of January? No, I don't. The 1st of April is the one I would do. April Fool's Day, in fact. 13-month calendar, December 10, January is 11, February is 12, March is 13, April will be the 1st. This is why we have April Fool's Day, because only fools celebrate the true beginning of the year. So there we go. I hope you found that interesting. I mean, I could go on all day about it. I could tell you so many things about Janus and the connections to the Janus is Zeus. How do we say hail Zeus? Jesus. You work that one out. Always nice to trigger some people as we leave, isn't it? But it is what it is. You know, Zeus was a psychotic god who tricked Pandora into opening Pandora's box and letting all the darkness in the world come out. Who put it in the box in the first place? Zeus did. Who's Zeus? Peter. Yeah, Yahweh. You know, very interesting, isn't it, how all these characters come up and link in together in the historical term. So yeah, there we go. So with that, everybody, I'm running out of time. Hopefully it wasn't too much. Hopefully it makes sense. Please look at my playlists on the Fibonacci and Janus stuff. I think it's in there as well. You know, we're fighting this demonic energy. We're fighting the demons. Let's be mindful about our intentions on January the 1st. Let's change it up. Let's put a switch on it. Make the intention to bring in what we want. And with that, everybody, love, light and blessings. And I shall catch up with you very soon. Bye-bye.